Hi, and welcome to another episode on board the SS Mad Bloke. The reason I'm sat here in my hoodie is that I want to introduce another part of my psyche. And this is the part of me that appears after I've done a show at the weekend, or I've done a lot of readings, or had a big energy exchange. And I actually love this part of my psyche when it turns up. It is comforting, it is settling. And in the first program, I introduced you to my arch rival, my nemesis, the negative narrator. And it's had varying feedback. It hasn't had a lot of views, and I understand that. That's because it's not to everybody's taste. But certain things have been noticed. So I went to a show recently, and somebody said to me, "Oh, I didn't realise you suffered with your mental health." And I said, "Oh yeah, I've had issues since I was 15 years of age." And if you follow me on YouTube at all, or any of the other work that I do, you'll realise pretty soon that I am a little bit unorthodox, that I'm not very good at sticking to any scripts or rules or anything like that. So I realised that now sometimes when I come out with something, that it will have an effect on it that I don't particularly want. It'll draw feedback or criticism or something like that. So I have to put fail safes in place. I have to put guards up. And my reason for doing all of this work is, as I said before, is when my dad passed away, it triggered something. So for this last year, I've been sort of up and down the scale of days where I'm okay, days where I'm really not okay, and then other days where I'm just blagging it to just get by. And I started to examine it and split it down of what I want to achieve. So when I first started out this YouTube channel, the idea was that I was going to be just a guide and a help to other people by using my storytelling and my experiences to help people, and that eventually I'd make money from it. Right. Well, I've realised now that, like with a lot of things now, as I get into my 50s, I just haven't got the gas in the tank to be able to keep up with what is, for me, is like a full-time occupation when you're working on YouTube. It's quite difficult, the amount of time that you have to commit to it. So I just thought I'd come on here and indulge myself. Some people will think that I'm funny. Some people will think that I'm ridiculous. But I just hope that with my belief in right and divine timing, that when people stumble across these videos, if they ever do, that it'll hit that one person that it's meant to. So the idea behind this, the stream of videos that I'm looking to put together, is to show you that all sorts of strategies work for you. So by day, I am that full-time medium, psychic, and thought therapist. And every time that you have an energy exchange with anything, it takes something away from you. So you need to then look at how you protect yourself and how you top your energy back up. So I had the thought, as I usually do, how does this present out for me? Well, so I introduce you to that first character. Now, the second character that I will bring in will be this one, that is my spiritual bodyguard. One of the later characters that I will bring in is the showman side of me that goes out to all of these events, the waistcoat man. But when the waistcoat man's been out all day and working, and combined with the negative narrator from the first video, I have a tendency to feel absolutely exhausted and quite run down. So this is where I've learned over the years that when there's an energy exchange, right, take time out, take a stop, take a pause, take a breather moment. And even though I don't make as much money as I'd like to, I enjoy doing this. But what I also realise is how oversensitive, he says in inverted commas, not wanting to do that sort of catchphrase type of thing, but I'm oversensitive. So when you go out and you've got quite a vocal personality, you are open to criticism. And I don't always take that very well. But part and parcel of what I do, you have to realise, command word, that you are going to attract your fair share of people that don't agree with what you're doing. know, that you'll put yourself at a deficit if you're going out there and you're being a bit unorthodox. Well, that's how I am. So when I've gone out there and I put everything in there, into everything that I do, there's a chance that the odd comment will get through and under the radar and will flatten me, which has been the case this weekend while I've been out working. When you look at a barometer of how well I feel like it's gone, I feel fairly successful. I've had some really good feedback. But as your energy starts to deplete, and particularly as I feel that I've got this ADHD thing going on where my energy can be quite manic at times until it's not, where it runs out of gas. So on the following day after a big energy exchange, then there's the need for kind of taking a step back. And the reason for wearing the hoodie, and I want to explain that because not everybody will get it and not everybody will understand. This is the part of my psyche that's my guardian angel. When I'm stepping in alongside the negative narrator giving that negative crap that's doing this sort of, I don't know what you would actually call it, but like a post-mortem of events, you know, where you're sort of scraping through all of the things and giving negative feedback, as well as the high frequency of the spiritual medium type of me. There's this person that comes in and is not interested in any of that, not interested in what the negative narrator says, not interested in what the psychic mediums come up with any success. And this is the part where I'm being taken care of. The energy that steps in is my spiritual bodyguard. And I feel safe when I've got the hood on. It's almost like, well, obviously wearing this colour, you're not going to be invisible, but it's like I block out the internal noise, and I also block out the external factors. And in my own mind, it's like a cloak that comes around me. It's like a big hug. So if I'm feeling a little bit oversensitive about something and something's got under my skin for whatever reason, then I'm not drawn to go and walk towards it and try and solve it. I'm just giving myself that hug. I'm giving myself that time out. I'm giving that self the time that I need to be able to build myself up again and be ready for the next one. Being sensitive and oversensitive for me is quite a difficult task. That I've spoken about it many times to people, that I am not stupid. And I've had to work out ways of how I manage my unorthodox mind. And I've spent lots of money on training and going through courses to learn how to manage my own thoughts. I've had counselling, I've had all of this sort of thing. And what it all comes down to is the only person that can sort of put things forward and affect changes is how you respond to all of that information that you're given. But like I was saying to somebody yesterday, right, having the realization that something negative is going on around you and accepting that you want to make the changes, and then moving on to the step of completion where you are past the point of trauma or difficulties or however reactionary you've been, there's a gap in the middle, right? And the gap for me is what I know as the vortex. I visualize Dorothy out the Wizard of Oz when she's in that moment where all of the things are spinning around and all of the crap's flying around her. And she's tapping her feet together, and eventually she comes with the no place like home, and she lands and she's grounded. I find the vortex quite an uncomfortable place. So coming out of a place where a comment's landed at me, realizing that at some point the rational part of my brain will eventually come in and make sense of it all, there's that gap. And in that gap is my spiritual bodyguard in the vortex that helps me and just understands. Because I think we all need somebody there that looks out for ourselves. Now, whether it's literally people or advice that you take off wherever you take it from, support and guidance, I do, but I get overwhelmed by thoughts. I get overwhelmed by emotions. So in my imagination, in the little place that I inhabit, I need to be able to have that support where I can just bounce off. I can just be in that place where I can just be whatever I want to be with no judgment. So in that place, my spiritual bodyguard walks in. The fact that I choose to wear hoodies and the majority of what hoodies you'll ever see me in are the Fat Willie's ones from Cornwall, because I just love Cornwall. It's my place of peace. So if I'm ever going into a place of meditation, that's probably the first place that I'm going to take myself to, because I've been going down that area of the country for a good number of years. So he's not a nemesis. He is just pure light that steps in and holds me together, really. Because once we get from the vortex, we're getting to that place of knowledge. We're getting to that place of experience. We learn, and that we're ready to accept new things and coming in. But sometimes we just need that ally to just hold us together before we make that bold step. Because I've asked many intelligent people, what is that the next step? What is that person that's going to step into that vortex, in between the acknowledgement of what's going on and the completion of what's going on? There's that gap, that bridge in the middle. So I've placed in there somebody who's an ally. The thing about this side of my character is this one doesn't speak. It doesn't have a voice. So there's no need to adjust the volume or anything like that. He is there as a buffer against the negative narrator, and also as a counterbalance when the over-exuberant waistcoat man comes in. You know, the psychic medium and or the positive, uplifting, driving side of me, when that comes in. So it's that bridging point. So this is my spiritual bodyguard. And if you've took the time to watch this production, then I thank you very much. There are a couple of others that I'm looking at bringing in. And as always, I am grateful for every single subscriber that looks at my stuff, whether it's viewed 1 time, 25 times, or 100 times. I'm grateful for everybody that takes the time out to look at it, because quite simply, what I'm looking at doing all of the time is helping that one person, to reach that one person. This is how I cope with my mental health, how I strategize. But like I would always say to people, go out and seek your own advice. This is meant as a sort of complementary exercise that if you take some comfort from it, great. You know, don't mirror my antics or anything like that. This is just how the strategy that I've devised to help get me through some difficult and some dark times, because it's having, I can't diagnose myself as having a personality disorder. Obviously there's something that's not quite the norm, but my personalities that I have are sometimes in, well, rather than say disorder, let's say disarray. So it depends on who I'm working with as to what response I get. So today, as I put this out after having a reasonably busy weekend overall, then this is where I need that peace and that calm. So the non-verbal side of me can come in and just set the gauges again, reset the gauges so that we go again. So thank you. If you took the time out to watch this, please give me a like and subscribe. I never make any promises about what I'm going to do, but thank you very much if you took the time out to watch this. I really appreciate it. And the next one that we'll bring out is the psychic medium. So keep watching, and thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for the support.